Black Friday is forecast to drive $78 billion in global online sales today, but are consumers in the mood for shopping? It's a critical Black Friday for retailers. Several sales forecasts have predicted this year's Christmas shopping season will be muted, with shoppers everywhere searching for discounts. Salesforce predicted 2.1% growth in spending by Americans. That's compared to 4% last year, as higher prices put consumers off. While in the UK, shoppers are digesting what the budget will mean for them. Anna MacDonald is an investment manager at Aubrey Capital Management. Anna, Black Friday is crucial, especially in the US, but are consumers ready to spend?
I think you have to really divide up those consumers. The wealthier consumers, particularly those in the US, they are willing to spend. They are sitting with perhaps some pretty substantial stock market gains. And when and even Unilever actually even called this out. They said that customers that had a lot of stocks and shares are going out and spending money on Unilever's products. But there are certainly a large contingent of people who aren't feeling wealthy, who are still feeling the effects of particularly food inflation. And you've got to remember those consumers in the US might have also suffered from, those poorer consumers might have also suffered from the government shutdown when there were disruptions to SNAP payments. So those things all mount up to mean that for some consumers, it's only the essentials they're really trying to buy or cheaper discretionary items. And that if the stock market continues to do well in the US, we might see those luxury goods continuing to do quite well. I think it's all to do with that kind of K-shaped consumer that we've heard so much about.
So that means potentially a good holiday season, as you were saying, for higher end retailers and more difficult for discounters?
Yes, I mean, I think we've already seen that to some extent. So Walmart, nearly 2/3 of their offering is those real household essentials, food, personal care items that we all need to buy. So they're quite well protected, whereas Target, we know, are producing a lot for this season that's not too expensive, cheaper Christmas ornaments and things like that. So those we've already seen that. We've seen commentary from some of the restaurant groups like Chipotle saying that younger shoppers aren't feeling very buoyant. And also, interestingly, because of the ICE agents out and about on the streets, that the Latino population has become much more reticent about going out, and that would change the ways that they're socialising and spending.
Well, here in the UK, consumers and the market are still digesting the budget, of course. But how healthy does the British shopper look going into this Christmas season?
Well, I'm afraid it's not great. The CBI, in their latest survey, which was just early this week, said that retailers' sentiment had fallen at the fastest rate for 17 years, which, considering we had COVID in the middle of that, is quite something. And retail sales in October were really quite weak. They were down 1.1%, which was, I don't know, it was a bit of a shock, I think, actually, that. And we've seen some profit warnings in the sector. So what we've had is consumers worried about the upcoming budget. It was such a long-trailed budget. It was as late as it could possibly be. So consumers, we've seen that savings rates have really increased to over 10%, which means that we've had this real caution. They didn't know what kind of taxes they were going to have to pay. And so that might unlock a bit. And today, perhaps if people are feeling a bit more certain about things, they'll be happy to go and spend, try and find some Black Friday discounts. But it's not been a happy run up, and it's such an important quarter for retailers. This is where it's called the golden quarter. It's where they make their profits. So this is tough for them, and we'll see what happens when we get all those trading updates, which we get early in the new year from the big stalwarts like Next and Marks and Spencer's and the supermarkets and so on.
That was Anna MacDonald of Aubrey Capital Management. Don't forget you can watch more videos on Reuters.com.